There are two tools that can help scale images without distorting images in Photoshop, as well as reposition any object to fill the area that has been left behind. Let's start with this house. As you can see, there's a guide on the canvas, and it's because I want to transform or scale it to fit a 1:1 ratio. You can show guides under the View menu and then choose to show your guides. First, we're going to convert the background to a layer. So to do this, click on the lock icon, followed by going to the Edit menu, choose Content Aware Scale. By default, as I start scaling the image, Photoshop will constrain the proportions of the image. In order to change this, you can unlock by clicking the link icon here. Or you can hold down the Shift key as you drag. Now as I scale this to fit a 1:1 ratio, Photoshop will try and scale the areas with the clouds and anywhere in the landscape that has lower frequencies. Photoshop will try and leave areas that have higher frequencies, like the roof and the building. If you want to compare what the free transform tool would do, you can do this by adjusting the slider on the right here. As I move the slider to the left, you can see what the free transform tool would do. And this is what the Content Aware Scale would do. If there are any areas that we need to protect, select those first. So let's cancel out here. And grabbing the lasso tool, let's drag a loose selection around the house. Choose the Select menu and save the selection. Now let's give it a name. Click OK, and then use Command D to deselect. Choose Edit, then Content Aware Scale. Again, unlocking the aspect ratio. Scale this by dragging this middle handle. We can see that there was some distortion down to the house. But if I choose the Protect menu, it will look to see if there's any safe selections that I can choose from. So now we can see that even if I scale this more, Photoshop is going to do everything it can not to distort the house. Of course, this will also work if I drag down from the top. You can see that I'm going to compress those lower frequency areas, like the clouds, and try not to disturb the house that we have protected. Go ahead and click the check mark to apply that. Great. Let's look at the second image. I want to do two things. I want to remove those two birds, and then I want to move the bird right over to this area. To remove the two birds, I will select the Spot Healing brush and then paint over the area Photoshop will need to remove. First, let's move the other bird by switching to the lasso tool and make a quick selection around the bird like so. Switch to the Content Aware Move tool. This will enable me to move the bird and have Photoshop fill in the area where the original bird was automatically. While the bird is still selected, I have the ability to change this structure and color options. Use Command H in order to hide the edges and Command plus in order to zoom in once or twice. Photoshop does a much better job at blending in those edges as I move the color slider up to 10. If I needed to move the structure slider, I can increase that to 7, and increasing that value tells Photoshop to try and copy the original information as closely as it can into the original. While still blending into the new location, if I move down from 7, we'll see a little bit of change of the shape of the bird. So I'll go ahead and bring that back up to 7. As soon as you get that blended the way that you like, use Command H to show you your selection, and then choose Select and Deselect. Let's go ahead and zoom out by pressing Command 0. You can see that Photoshop has filled the original area where the bird was.